So we start this episode with Teo and Amadeo really asking Rocky to take an L on his relationship with Joana just to help out Josiane. And Rocky's like, nah, y'all are crazy. And this man Amadeo really had the nerve to be like, I know that Josiane is a horrible person, but can you please help her out? Rocky really was like, why don't you ask her yourself? Like, why am I getting involved in this? Elsewhere, we find out that Joana has a grandma with Alzheimer's, and it seems that Joana's having trouble paying for their retirement home. So then Joana goes and visits Mary Peace, and she decides to vent to her. And Joana is the complete opposite of Josiane. Joana literally said, I only eat one meal a day to save money to pay for my grandma's retirement home. Like Josiane would never, her greedy ass. But she is so angelic. And Mary Peace like, don't worry, I'm gonna find a way to help you. And I hope she does. Amadeo takes Rocky's advice and goes and visits Josiane. And she's like, so you gotta give me some money because that's all she cares about. And he's like, no, but you're gonna tell me that you're getting scammed by Fabiana. What she got on you? And Josiane once again reaches her crazy limit and kicks him out. Elsewhere, Mano Santa is watching Agno cry over Rocky. Like, let's not forget that Agno literally invented a relationship. Rocky did not do a single thing to lead this man on. And Mano Santa's like, remember that speech I gave about self-respect? He was like, screw it. And Agno's like, what do you mean? And Mano Santa's like, I want some sexy time. Like, why are you hugging like that? On the opposite side of the coin, we have homophobic ass Cos. And she's really talking about I'm gonna go home and talk to my online boyfriend. Like, child, you're getting catfish. Her rude ass really walked past Lyris and didn't even say hi. But can we talk about Lyris accepting her Latina mom role? She really just there chilling, cutting some fruit. Like, why do Latino parents do that? Anyways, our homophobic teenage queen was like, I'm talking to my bae. Talking about, what's his name? Lauro. And he's 17? Girl, you getting catfish. Over at the cake factory, Marcio is like, listen, Abel, you really gotta stop bullying Brittany. And I don't get what Abel's deal is. He's scared of people judging him for liking a trans person, yet everybody knew that Brittany was trans from day one. So therefore, they never ever judged him. So I have no idea what his deal is. Anyways, moving on, Jose Elio goes and pays a surprise visit to Beatriz, and he accidentally meets Octavio. And they do not like each other. They was really about to throw hands. And Octavio decides that he isn't right for Beatriz, so he goes and plans with Grandma Linda. And Grandma Linda agrees. She's like, yeah, he probably just wants her money. And these two just join forces to freaking put them apart. Like, why y'all getting involved, Octavio? This isn't even your lane. You don't even like Beatriz like that. Like, they doing too much. But that didn't stop these two because they went out on a cute pizza date and had their second kiss. I stand so much. Over at the police station, Camilo's co-workers are making fun of Vivi's post, talking about how sexy she is. Like, how misogynistic are these dudes? And Camilo is like, hold me back, like he was extra pissed. But he really took that out on Vivi, because he showed up the next day talking about, I was really, really busy this morning doing something. And poor Vivi, lo and behold, it turns out that he literally tore all her outfits for her photos. He was like, yeah, Vivi, you humiliated me. So this is what you, like, how did she humiliate you by taking pictures? Camilo, you freaking crazy, dude. So really, Vivi showed up and she was like, Camilo's freaking crazy. I can't stand this. And poor Kim had to pep talk her again. She was like, you're amazing. Do not let Camilo's nastiness stop you. And I agree with her. So they went on and had their crazy photo shoot of the day. And as usual, evil robot Bertha was like, I do not approve of that dress. And Baby was like, bitch, I don't care. If you don't sit your ass down, like, you don't need to approve anything. And I have to admit, it was a cute photo shoot. Like, that was a good picture. Back at Vivi's house, Chicle goes and pays Beatriz a visit. And he's like, yeah, I noticed that Vivi's been really weird. And that weird old lady who's probably a robot is hanging out with her a lot. And Beatriz like, see, I told you. I knew she was not happy. I knew there's something weird there. And Chicle's dumbass is like, well, I don't know. She did tell me that she didn't love me. Like Chicle, you really this dumb still? And Beatriz was like, bro, like, you need to cut the ish out. Like, she did not mean that. We know something sketchy is going on here. And Chicle was like, yeah, you're right. Like, all right, I'm going to stay so I can help out Vivi. Like, he's so stupid. But we need him. So. Over at the police station, Camilo gets a random visit from these two. And it turns out that girl was this dude's sister. And then she was like, yeah, I don't know what happened. But she was like, he told me that on that day, he was going to become rich. And Camilo's gears start turning. He was like, wait a minute. And he remembers that this dude and Gardel had the exact same story about suddenly becoming rich. I totally forgot Camilo was the one investigating Josiane's crimes, but I don't know if it's gonna go anywhere or not. He's a villano. And now for the last scene. So Josiane calls up Kim, and Kim is always so enigmatic. Like, I just noticed that she has all these drugs that she's taking. Like, you never know what her deal is, but we love her though. Anyways, Josiane shows up to talk about money. And Kim is like, child, you started on the right topic because I need more money because my services are expensive. And Josiane is like, yeah, I'm broke. And Kim is like, yikes. In that case, then I don't know what to help you. And Josiane is really like, well, I have so many followers now. And Kim, without missing a beat, was like, yeah, your followers are fake, hunty, fake. And this crazy wench really was like, well, you know what? I have so many followers now, and I go to restaurants and take selfie, and people know me, so I should start making money like Vivi. And Kim went in on her. She called her a ridícula. She basically called her a clown, and she deserves it. And we are left with Josiane looking shocked. I know they're about to fight as soon as we start this next episode. So today's episode was all about Josiane reaching her psycho breaking point. As you all know, last time Josiane and Kim were going at it, and Josiane really was like, I want to get paid for my post, even though don't nobody know her. And Kim was like, listen, you are ridiculous. And then Kim just really dragged her for like legit 15 minutes. She was like, first of all, your followers are fake. You have no charisma or talent, and nobody wants to buy your post because nobody even knows who you are. And Josiane was just there looking stupid. And Kim wasn't done. She was like, listen, you look extra fake and nobody likes your picture. And Kim even rubbed it in. She was like, if you were really talented, I would have even worked for free. And I wouldn't charge you a thing, just like I did for Sylvia. She said, girl, I even charge you extra because you extra annoying to deal with. And this was pretty much the breaking point for Josiane, and the psycho in her jumped out. So this crazy bitch really locks Kim inside the studio. And she's like, I should have gotten rid of you a long time ago, but now's a good time since we're alone. And Kim ain't stupid. She's like, whoa, Josiane, calm your horse. And Josiane's going on this psychotic rant about how she deserves so much because she had money. And Kim was like, listen, girl, you're a mean girl, you're a bitch, like nobody likes you. And not the right thing to say because that just drove Josiane over the edge. And legit, Josiane was trying to stab her. And her crazy ass like, I'm gonna get rid of you. Kim, being the smart person that she is, runs for the door the second that Diaz comes through. And she's like, all right, Diaz, we gotta get out. Nothing happened here, but let's get out. And she basically goes to Josiane like, all right, you're fired. And she was like, and now I see what you are really like. And it's like, damn, Josiane, you should have probably gotten the job done because now you have another witness against you. And thankfully, Kim ain't stupid because she snitched on Josiane right away. Marcio gets there and she tells all three of them, she was like, yeah, Josiane had a murderous stare and she was threatening me. And Diaz backed her claim up, which makes it legit. Every day, Josiane is closer to getting exposed. Now, I wonder if Kim has anxiety because she's always popping pills, but also she's always drinking her flask. So, like, I don't know what her deal is. Anyways, onto lighter stuff. So, Abel goes and visits Brittany, and we find out that Lady the Pig has grown so much. Look at how big she is. And I gotta give it to this novella for being so groundbreaking because this is the first time someone in novella just had a normal sickness. Like, Brittany just had a cold, and it wasn't like a life-threatening cold or any crazy cold. She just had a cold. Like, nobody in novellas just gets sick for the sake of getting sick. Like, she legit just has a cold. And you can tell Abel still low-key likes her but doesn't know how to like her. Over at the police station, Camilo's remembering a testimony from Lucas's sister, and he's like, something's really strange here. And the police chief is like, yeah, you've been too busy playing Villano instead of investigating these murder cases. Like, maybe you should get on it. And then Camilo decides to play Law and Order again. And he goes and visits Ellen, and Ellen gives him this long-winded story about every single thing that happened the night that Josiane got caught with Regis. And it doesn't take a smart person, especially someone like Camilo, to put two and two together. It can either be one or two people, Regis or Josiane. And Ellen was like, it definitely must be Regis. Like, Ellen. So naturally, Camilo goes and pays Regis a visit. And Camilo was like, where were you the night that Gardel got killed? And Regis seemed to have an alibi, but I bet you he's still gonna end up in jail for this mess. Elsewhere, Beatriz goes and visits Vivi. An evil Terminator robot, Bertha, is monitoring their conversation as usual. Vivi's like, yo, can you get us some drinks? Like, you know, just step away from... Beatriz wastes no time. She's like, you must come and see me tomorrow. I have somebody waiting for you. It's Chicle. And Vivi was like, oh my god, I'm gonna try my best. How am I gonna get out of it? But the robot comes back. And she was really like, you should ask your husband for permission first. Like, girl. And Vivi was like, why don't you come with us? And evil robot Bertha was legit shocked that Vivi showed her some kindness. Like, I really do think she's a robot for real. Elsewhere, these two clowns are still trying to convince Rocky to mess up his relationship with Joana just to help out Josiane and to catch out Fabiana. Amadeo really said, do this for me as a father and for Josiane. Like, I cannot stand it. But poor Rocky, who has a heart of gold, couldn't say no to this mess. So we go over to Amadeo being like a father for like the first time in its entire show. Anyway, Sylvia and Abdias show up and they fill in Amadeo on the tea. Abdias was like, yeah, like, Kim said that Josiane looked like she was murderous, and I kind of like agree with her. And Amadeo's like, murderous, you say? Like, damn it. And Josiane, who is on edge, gets a visit from Teo. And she's like, oh my god, I'm broke, I literally have no money. And she's basically crying Jordan. And once Teo realizes that now she really lost everything, Teo's like, good. And Josiane's like, wait a minute, what do you mean good? And stupid ass Teo couldn't shut up. And he literally blurted out the entire plan. He was like, yeah, me, Agno, and Rocky were in on it. And Josiane is shocked and pissed. And I'm just like, Teo, shut up, you're gonna get killed. And then he finally lays down the final word. And he was like, yeah, and your mom planned it all. She was like, you stole her money, and then she decided you should lose it. So Josiane goes and pays Mary Peace a visit. And she's like, it's time to settle this. So we're left with Mary Peace, and I know they're gonna have a fight tomorrow. So Josiane really had the nerve in this episode to crash at everyone's place. So we really start this conversation with Josiane and Mary Peace going at it. And Josiane is like, so I heard that you were the one planning losing all my money. And And Mary Peace was like, hold your horses, girl. You mean my money. The money that you stole from me and you used for bad things. And Josiane read her for filth and finally said what she should have said. She was like, you got here because of your bad actions, your bad decisions, and because you're a mean, ambitious person. And then Josiane really tried to be like, shut up, you don't know anything about business. And I'm glad that Mary Peace finally said this because it is something that has been on my mind since forever. And Mary Peace was like, you know what? I know business, girl. Like, I built 2 businesses and you haven't done anything but lose money. And Josiane just went off like a psycho again. But Mary Peace wasn't having it. She was like, you deserve everything that you're getting. You still haven't changed and you better learn that lesson. So Josiane left extra pissed talking about, I'm gonna get revenge for this. And Mary Peace was like, girl, ain't nobody scared of you. Like, sit your ass down. And Josiane, loser ass, runs to Amadeo. And like, I noticed that this is literally, I think this is the first time that her and Carlitos like interacted and had an actual conversation. Anyway, Josiane is trying to be all cutesy with Amadeo. She's like, we haven't really spent time together. And Amadeo ain't here for the ish either. He was like, all right, girl, just get to it. And she was like, fine. I need a place to stay. Can I crash at your place? And he really said, let me ask your mom about it. I don't know. And Josiane is just like, WTF, like that. So Amadeo's dumbass runs over to Mary Peace and he's like, well, I kind of feel bad for her. He's like, I really wasn't around, and I really get any time to like hang out. And Mary Peace is like, oh no, don't feel bad for that bitch. I gave her such a good life and she's such an ungrateful jerk. And Mary Peace also warned Amadeo that Josiane would just take all his money. So he came to his senses and he was like, listen, Josiane, you cannot stay in my house. And of course, Josiane was shocked and she goes into her psycho mode. And he's like, the only way you could stay is if you were telling me the truth and you told me what Fabiana has on you. And Josiane did her like creepy psycho laugh again. And then she went off on Amadeo. She was like, you are a ridiculo. This is like the new word in the show, ridiculo. And she was like, you're a loser. I hate you. Like, I would be annoyed pretending to like. And Amadeo was like, damn, bitch. Like, you don't have to be that. You don't have to go in like that. But he was like, you know what? I'm gonna get to the bottom of whatever Fabiana has on you. Over at Sylvia's house, she sneaks in Chicle, and then Vivi and Berta show up just in time. And I noticed that Berta was really confused by them actually inviting her to be part of like their conversation, which leads me to believe that Berta hasn't been treated kindly, and this might be an opportunity for Vivi to get her on her side to help her. Anyways, Beatriz comes up with this plan to drug Berta so that Vivi can go talk to Chicle. And Berta was knocked out like a Latino dad watching a soccer game that he's not paying attention to. It's and Vivi ran to meet with Chicle. And like, this is the first time that I actually stand this couple. Like, I really felt the love this time. And Vivi finally clean. She was like, I lied about all those horrible things I said to you. And they finally made up, but we didn't get to see what happened after. Josiane continues to beg people to stay at their apartment. So she visits Teo next, and she's all cutesy. She's like, Teo, I miss you. And stupid ass Teo fell for it as usual. He was like, me too, Josiane. Like, shut up, Teo. And she gets right to the point. She's like, great, can we move in now? And then Teo's like, oh, so this is what it's about. He was like, girl, you did not need to be that fake. He was like, I knew you were gonna do this. And Josiane starts going on the psycho and on the defensive. She was like, I don't even like your ass. Like, Teo, this is the girl you were simping over? Like, this is the girl that you love so much? Like, you would clown yourself, Teo. Anyways, Josiane texted me next to see if she could stay at my place, but I told her ass to go because I ain't entertaining her trifling ass. Elsewhere, Regis is getting questioned by Camilo, and I don't know why Regis' stupid ass lied about being with Josiane the day that Gardel and that Lucas were killed. Because his stupid ass just put himself in Josiane's hands. So he calls her over, and Josiane's all giddy. She's like, finally I found a place to stay, and she's like, Regis, you and I are perfect for each other. Which was true until Regis changed. Now they're not perfect for each other because Regis wants to be a good man. And Regis was like, listen, I love Mary Peace. You cannot live here. That's not a good look. And Josiane's like, oh. Okay, I guess. And Regis was like, but you'll still be my alibi, right? You'll tell Camilo that I was with you during those 2 murders which you committed? And Josiane was like, sure, yeah, no problem. I'll totally cover up for you. So Camilo, who finally is doing her job, pays Josiane a visit. And she acts all shocked and stuff, like, Josiane, you're so fake. And Josiane's all fake. She's like, oh my God, I love Gardel like he was part of the family. Only a man could have killed them because he was such a big guy. And Camilo ain't here for the BS. He's like, listen, a girl could have killed them too. Like, you need to chill. And she's like, all right, I'm just gonna shut up because this guy is not about that life. So he gets right to the point. He's like, were you with Regis on these dates when Gardel and where Lucas were killed? And of course, Josiane just came up with her own alibi, and she said no, she was not with Regis, and now Regis's dumbass is gonna go to jail for Josiane's crimes. But hopefully Camilo ain't stupid and can put 2 and 2 together. Do y'all believe in karma? When you do bad things come back to you. And this is what happened to Josiane in this episode. We start with Camilo interrogating her. He was like, are you Regis's alibi? Were you him when the murders happened? And Josiane really tried to put on the show. She was like, my conscience, I can't lie. He told me to cover up for him. Like, girl, shut up. You know you guilty. Elsewhere, Vivi and Chicle go back to being annoying. Like, y'all wasted time doing this when y'all started be coming up with a plan to freaking beat Camilo at his own game. But no, y'all want to waste time. And you had a pointless conversation too. Vivi really was like, I can't tell you what's going on, so you just have to trust me on this one. This literally went nowhere. Anyways, now that they wasted their time, Bertha finally got up and woke up, and she was shook. And Vivi was like, maybe you're just exhausted. You do so much work around the house. And once again, Bertha was shocked that Vivi said something nice about her. Even Vivi was like, girl, like, it wasn't that serious. Like, and Bertha was like, do you really mean that? Do you really think I do a good job? And they all had to reassure her. And it was like, okay, Bertha is vulnerable to that. And then Bertha was like, can you do me a favor? Can you lie to Camilo and say that I didn't fall asleep? And Vivi was like, I got you, girl, don't worry. So I do feel like Vivi could win Bertha over and help her. Over at the police station, they're discussing the two murders. Camilo's going on about how it could be Regis. And the chief is like, dude, legit, we found a woman's purse, we found a woman's bag, we found a woman's hair on the murder victim. And Camilo's like, nah, it has to be Regis. Like, he was just tricking us. Like, Camilo. Rocky went along with stupid Teo and Amadeo's plan, and he went and talked to Fabiana. And Fabiana's like, I turned into such a cruel and evil person because you left. Like, Fabiana, no, you're just a cruel and evil person in general, period. But she's like, oh, we can get back together. And Rocky's like, I immediately regret this decision. So our girl Joana goes and sees Mary P. And she tells her what's going on with her grandma. And Mary Peace really is an angel because she figured out a solution to Joanna's problems. She was like, you're going to live at the squatter's house because they're down in the mansion, so they don't need to be there. So she calls Rocky over. Mary Peace working overtime because she really called Rocky over to make sure they went together. So Rocky shows Joanna the squatter house and they have a cute moment. They about to kiss, but freaking Chico freaking cock blocks Rocky. I was pissed for him. Elsewhere, Josiane had the nerve to show up at the mansion. Everybody legit gave her the side eye. But can we talk about how cute the little pig is? And she really tried to be like, you know guys, it's been some time. We should have not distanced from each other. And Cornelia's like, girl, we don't know you. Cornelia wasn't about to play dumb. This is why I like Cornelia, because she's a straight shooter. She was like, girl, you never liked this. You were never nice to it. So why are you doing this right now? And Josiane always tried to play it off. She was like, no, I always liked you guys. But Cornelia wasn't having it. And she was like, the best I can do is offer you a job. And she was like, all right, I'll take that. They trolled the crap out of her. She called over Ella. And Cornelia was like, you're going to be the new maid. And Josiane was pissed. And then they all joined in. They were like, yup, you're going to be taking care of Lady the Pig. And Josiane was like, how y'all show more concern for that pig than for me? And they were all like, because we like the pig better than you. And she was extra pissed. Honestly, Grandma Cornelia is one of my favorite characters because she a troll. Yo, everyone was just being messy this episode because Mano Santa's like, listen, I'm trying to be the side chick or the fake boyfriend or the secret boyfriend, whatever he is. He was like, I want to be official. And Agno's like, he was like, what do you mean official? He was like, I want you to do a dinner with your family to announce me as your boyfriend. So we cut to Lyris and Cassia talking about this. And I'm still bewildered as to where Cassia became homophobic because old lady Gladys is not homophobic. And neither is Lyris, so where did that come from? Anyways, for whatever reason, this loser Merlin joins into the dinner. And you know, it's shady. There's a lot of shade being thrown about Agno scamming Lyris. But you know what? It's going pretty well, given that they all hate each other. Then Merlin stops being up to no good. He really snooping around the house like a weirdo. Then he finds the plot gun. This is not good. It's not with this evil-ass child. So back at the dinner, Mano Santa's finally like, all right, Agno, you better make this announcement. Agno reluctantly is like, yes, Mano Santa's my new boo. And you know, it's awkward, like everyone's like, all right. And then Cassia breaks all hell loose. That bitch was extra mad. She was pissed. She was like, I don't want to gay that. Like, girl. And she started fighting with Mano Santa. Yo, she went in and then her rude ass got up and left. And I felt a little bad for both of them. Like, she doing too much. The next day at the gym, my boy Jose Elio is making his move as usual. And then the nutritionist lady comes up and she reminds Beatriz about the pills that she offers her. This is super important because we're finally flashing back to the plot documents, which means we're going to get closer. Beatriz like, you know what? I haven't looked at them. I'm still thinking about it. And then she tells Jose Elio about it. And Jose Elio is like, why don't you give me those documents and I'll take a look at them. I'll see the Amazon reviews to see if they're legit or not. Which means that Jose Elio could potentially get the plot documents that Mary Peace needs. Elsewhere, Camilo and Vivi are having their awkward breakfast as usual. And he interrogates her and Bertha about how it went the previous day. And Bertha's like, it went well. She's still a robot. And then both Vivi and Bertha lie to Camilo. And Bertha was like, yes, I was with Vivi at all times. So hopefully Bertha starts kind of working together with Vivi because she definitely needs an ally. After this, Camilo starts questioning Vivi about what she thinks about Regis. And we all know Vivi never liked Regis. She was like, I think he's a deadbeat. I think he's a loser. He's a vividor. He doesn't like to work. Over at the retirement home, Rocky and Joana go and pick up her grandma. And Rocky has this absolutely adorable scene with the grandma. Legit, we were all about to cry last night when this happened. So they take the grandma over to the old squatter home and she meets old man Chico. And Joanna's grandma is like, who are you? And then this is the first time I saw old man Chico be a decent human being, because he was like, I'm gonna be your friend from now on. Once again, what amazing thing about this show is that the characters are multi-dimensional. They can be scumbags here, but amazing people over here. And it seemed like Joanna's grandma was happy to have a friend. Later, Joanna goes and thanks Mary Peace for the amazing thing that she did for her. Mary Peace really is an angel. And Joanna and Rocky take off, but they both run into stupid-ass Fabiana. Camilo, having made up his mind that Regis is the killer, goes and interrogates him again. And Regis is offended, he's outraged, but he's smart though. He was like, I will not say anything without my lawyer. And karma finally comes, well, again, for Josiane. The dude's like, alright girl, you need to get out of my apartment. And Teo shows up. First of all, Teo, what are you still doing there? Josiane is being annoying and ungrateful as usual. She's like, what are you doing here? I'm gonna get kicked out. And Teo's like, don't worry girl, I found you a place to live. And he shows Josiane where. And she's like, that's in the hood. That's in the ghetto. I can't be living there. Like girl, you going back to the hood. And Teo's like, it's either that or be homeless, so be grateful. And her ungrateful ass legit kicked him out of her apartment after he went out of his way to find her a home. And then she had a little meltdown, which I loved. So in the last scene, we see Josiane packing light because she only had 2 bags. And she is back in the hood where it all started. And she goes back into this little apartment. And boy, it looks extra cramped in there. And she is not liking this. And we were treated to this long shot of Josiane just being miserable, just hating her life. And she deserves every little bit of it. And there is so much drama coming for tomorrow. So this is the episode where Josiane lazy ass has to get a job. So we start with her having a mini freakdown, and I'm totally here for it. And she was so loud that even the neighbors heard. And remember, she lives in the hood now, so they can hear everything. Elsewhere, Camilo is questioning Regis, and Regis knows he messed up. He was like, I ain't gonna say nothing without my lawyer, as he should. Over at the bakery, Fabiana runs to Rocky and Joana, and she's being extra weird. She asks them if they're together, and Rocky has no option but to say no. Not that Joana was like about to say yes, but still, it was annoying. And then stupid-ass Fabiana made it a point to say that her and Rocky were trying to get back together, which made things worse. But it's not like Joana is necessarily looking for a relationship either, so like, I guess it's not that bad yet. Anyways, Fabiana really has no shame. She really went into Mary Peace's bakery and ate all her cake. And she had the nerve to ask for the recipes. Like, are you serious? Like, Mary Peace really was like, girl, you are not going to get my recipes and you're not going to get my factory. Because she said it very clearly. She said, that's my factory. And she was like, you want to know my secret? She was like, my secret is that I love what I do. I put all my heart into all my cakes. She was like, you're just doing this for the money. That's the difference. And Fabiana was extra offended, as she should. And she was like, you will not steal the bakery from me. Which she's not. Mary Peace is technically just going to get her own bakery back. And Fabiana was mad and she was like, I'm going to crush you. Which understandably made Mary Peace upset. Over at the studio, it seems that Bertha and Vivi are being a little nicer to each other. But Bertha isn't that stupid. She was like, you know what? I'm thinking about it, and next time I hang out with you, I'm not eating or drinking anything. So it seems that she's onto Vivi. And then Josiane walks in, and Teo's there. And Josiane really thought she was slick. She went to Teo, and she was like, I miss you so much. I love you. And Teo was like, wait, what? Like, can you believe that Teo, at this point, after everything that this miserable wench has put him through, still believes a word that she says? Like, Teo, you cannot be this stupid. Thankfully, Josiane is that stupid because she got right to the point and she was like, okay, can we move in together now? And Teo was like, oh, so this is what it was about. You're just trying to find a place to live. You don't want to live in the hood, so you're trying to live with me. And well, Josiane couldn't handle the truth because she got extra mad immediately and she went off on Teo like a psycho as she normally does. Teo was like, you were just playing my emotions. You're taking advantage of the fact that I like you. And Josiane once again was like, you're right. I don't even like your ass. And if anything, I find you annoying. And then she took off and left. And then he was about to run after her to the point where even Vivi was like, dude, it is not worth it. Like, when Vivi is the voice of reason, you know there is a problem. Even Bertha was like, what's his problem? And she works for Camilo's crazy ass. But Teo really had the nerve to be like, no, she'll change one day. Like, Teo is Captain Save-A-Ho. He wants to be Captain Save-A-Ho so bad, and I can't stand him anymore. The next day, Mary Peace is taking a picture of her cakes. And why is Mary Peace me, though? I'd be taking pictures of everything, too. Anyways, Regis pops in. And he's like, Mary Peace, I need a friend. Antonio, as always, is like, yo, this man got bad vibes. Don't be trusting him, Mary Peace. And he wasn't specific, but he was like, yeah, I kind of need a lawyer. I know that Amadeo hates my guts and he won't do it. But who you got next, Mary Peace? And she's like, all right, I'll call up Don Antero. And here's something we didn't think we would see. Marlene and Regis just having tea. Anyway, they're talking about his situation. And Don Antero's like, I'm not typically a criminal lawyer, but I will take your case if it's good. And Regis is like, all right, let me try one last thing before we have to go on to trial. And his dumbass goes and meets with Josiane. And he confronts her right away. He's like, why did you change your testimony? Why did you not confirm my alibi? And Regis started getting pissed. And what I'm wondering is, how is Regis not putting two and two together? Two key witnesses against them were murdered. And there's only one other person that could have had a motive other than him. And it wasn't him, so he should know that it was her. Anyways, Josiane really tried to be like, we should get back together. We'll live together. We're made for each other. And Regis was like, no, you wench. No, I love Mary Peace, not you. And he was like, besides, you're just trying to get a free apartment out of me, and I'm not here for it. Like, he really called her out immediately, and finally someone did it. So typical Josiane, she goes through her rage, they start calling each other out, and they start yelling at each other. And Regis really was like, get a job, because you're gonna need all the luck that you can get. And actually, Josiane did just that. She literally went to the store, and even the manager was like, girl, you about to spend? You better come, I'm gonna greet you personally. And Josiane was like, actually, I'm kind of broke, so I'm not here to spend. I'm here. And the store manager really sided her. She was like, weren't you like rich? Didn't you have all that social media following? I guess it was extra fake. And Josiane is like, I could be your manager. And she was like, Hunty, no, we don't have that here. We only have sales associates. You can be a sales associate. And Josiane really was like, oh, I guess. Like, girl, you don't know how to do anything. How are you going to be demanding like that? Speaking of demanding, Fabiana crazy ass is demanding Marcio that he goes and buy some Mary Peace to get the cake recipes. They're literally doing this over cake recipes. And Marcio's like, you know what? I ain't no snitch. So crazy ass Fabiana coerces the secretary. And at first she's like, listen, I don't get into any of this trouble. I'm just trying to do my job. And Fabiana's like, oh, I heard you need the money. I could just fire you. And the poor secretary had no option but to go along with Fabiana's stupid spying plan. She's just so creepy. She literally is the nun from hell. So Tonio and Jennifer are wrapping up everything at Mary Peace Bakery, and Tonio must have a crystal ball because he was like, you're about to get into some BS, and it's gonna not do well, and it's gonna hurt Mary Peace, so you better get on it. And I didn't realize that Jennifer's stupid ass was still meeting with this idiot. Like, she's still meeting with Gael. Like, why, girl? Why? Like, you deserve way better. And the secretary was spying on them, and she snapped some pictures for Fabiana. Elsewhere, Mary Peace pays Joana a visit, and she brings her and her grandma some cake. And you know, her grandma has Alzheimer's, so she's going on with her usual nonsense that doesn't make any sense to anybody. And Mary Peace just absolutely loves her. She gives her the cake. But as always, that cake was magical because that lady took that bite. And she was like, I had that cake before. And she was like, you and I are friends already, Mary Peace. And Mary Peace was like, wait a minute. How do you know me, girl? Because I don't know you at all. That just left Mary Peace wondering. And that makes me wonder if she's the plot nurse, which means that Joana really could be her daughter. All right, so for our last scene, Regis and Mary Peace are going out on a date, eating pizza, which is super weird. Even Mary Peace was like, I'm shocked that we're having this, given that I just shot your ass a while ago. And Regis was like, yeah, let's just forget. Let's just pretend like that never happened. Anyways, he started coming clean. He was like, yeah, so I need an attorney because I'm being accused of murder and Josiane wouldn't cover up for me. And Mary Peace is like, hold your horses, wait, what do you mean you're accused of murder? And Regis finally tells Mary Peace what happened with the Gardel murders and with Lucas's murders. And I hope Mary Peace is smart enough to put two and two together because there's only one person who could have done that murder, and we all know that's Josiane. But apparently these dummies don't.